Ladies and gents, welcome back. It's Tales from, it's Adam Leventhal back again, and this video is called Snakes and Ladders. Why is it called Snakes and Ladders? Well, because we're going to dissect the fallout from the Everton visit on Saturday to Vicarage Road. Watford 1, Everton 0. And in my eyes, having watched the build-up, having been at the game, interviewed the main protagonists at the game as well, and then watched the fallout, I think one key element hasn't been discussed enough, and maybe one key element has been missed in all of this. And that is why, let's play you some audio, that is why I asked Marco Silva this question when I got an opportunity to speak to him after the game. Have a listen and then we'll kick on. Marco, you were given a hot reception here at Vicarage Road. Can you understand why the Watford fans were shouting the things that they were shouting today?
To be honest with you, of course, not just the fans, many people, and the most important people, because it's the people know the truth and know everything. They were working with me, close to me. They welcome me really well, because at the end they know like I'm working. They know more or less the truth, and for me it's enough.
Tell us about the meeting that you had with Troy before the game, because it sounds like it was an important thing that Troy wanted to do to maybe make peace before the game.
No. What Troy wants to say was the truth. What's happened really, and the truth. Of course, when you are asking me and writing everything what some of you to write, Troy tried to just to give the right feedback to me and say the truth what he said. I know Troy very well, and for me it was really surprised if Troy says something different than what he knows about me. But for me is not something special. His strategy, and who defined the strategy was for sure wasn't Troy.
So there Marco Silva's talking about a strategy created by Watford to whip up some hysteria ahead of the game, creating an atmosphere. And to be fair to him, he did say that was a good strategy. He is obviously pointing towards Watford creating this whole situation in terms of the atmosphere and building it up and building it up and building it up. And I understand why he might think that. Okay? I understand that. If you're in his situation and you're asked in news conferences before a game about quotes that have come from your former captain, Troy Deeney, and some of the words that are used don't sound particularly complimentary and sound ultimately a bit threatening, then if you were to judge those quotes in isolation, you would be thinking, hang on a minute, what's going on here? That doesn't take into consideration the whole story around where those quotes came from, how they got out of that fans forum, whether the club would have wanted them out there in the first place, and also the framework in which those words were said. Was there humour attached? It makes it slightly different, doesn't it? If you have them in black and white, they read one thing. If you know the nod and the wink or the glint in the eye when it's said by Troy, then it can be something completely different. However, they were said, and as far as Marco Silva is concerned, that would be part of the strategy. Obviously, there were other words out there from the chairman as well, which will have been levelled at Marco Silva, and he would have had to react to them as well. So you can understand why he would think that there is a strategy to try and build it up, trying to fan the flames. What I think Marco Silva's missing when he focuses on the strategy and doesn't talk about understanding the Watford fans and why they may react like that is for a number of reasons. Basically, he's ignoring the fact that Watford fans might be capable of independent thought, that they could have formed these views in their own minds, that they're not necessarily lemmings that have to follow words that are said by other people. Okay, we had the music pre-match, even though he didn't necessarily hear the music pre-match. I'm not 100% sure whether that was a good idea or a bad idea, whether it was tongue-in-cheek, whether it was light-hearted, whatever it was, it did happen. But he wouldn't have been aware of that. It's not necessarily going to have much of an impact. He's ignoring the fact that the Watford fans, were hurt by his actions. He's ignoring the fact that the Watford fans in those opening 10, 11 games, maybe a few more, had committed to him, had committed to a new style of play. He's ignoring the fact that he was given the opportunity to instantly turn down the approach from Everton. We know that he wanted to go. We know that the hierarchy at the club said, you're not allowed to go. We know that he kept that option open for as long as possible. And from the outside looking in, when his opportunity went, it didn't appear, from body language, from the way that the team performed, that his reaction was as good as it should have been. And I suppose that's putting it lightly. He's ignoring the fact that his successor has basically done exactly the opposite to what he did. Grazia he's knuckled down. He's managed to unite a group, and he's put the team seemingly as his number one priority. And at this stage, there is no sign of Grazia thinking at the forefront of his mind about his next step, about his career, about his individual targets. Therefore, in conclusion, it's not about the atmosphere being created by Watford's strategy. It was his strategy in the first place to try and manoeuvre himself away from the football club, away from fans who have committed in him, away from fans who liked the football that was being played, away from the hierarchy perhaps who put their faith in him after he'd left Hull. It's that strategy that led to the atmosphere. It wasn't one that was created. It was waiting to be put on the line in front of him from Watford fans that had been hurt, disappointed and disillusioned by basically a lack of loyalty. So there you go, those are my views. Let me know what you think of what I've said, whether you agree, whether you disagree. I'm sure Everton fans will watch as well. I'm sure Everton fans will say, hang on a minute, he got sacked. How can Watford complain about a manager that got sacked? Well, let me know what you think, and leave a comment, leave a like if you do like it, leave a thumbs down if you don't. But I just wanted to put it out there that I think maybe the whole point about this thing was that the connection that Silva lost with the Watford fans was far more significant in creating that atmosphere on Saturday than anything else pre-match with words or songs and during the match. It was about the lack of connection